Welcome back to Upfront and our conversation about the state of the state's economy. Our panelists today are Bryant Jacobson of Wells Fargo Advantage Funds, Rose Oswald Poles of the Wisconsin Bankers Association, and Corey Nettles of Generation Growth Capital. Rose Oswald Poles, let's ask a very fundamental question here. Do we have the workforce in Wisconsin to meet the jobs of the futures, to meet the needs of employers as we move forward?
Not yet, and that is a key area we need to work on. We need to do better in having academic institutions at all levels, the high school, technical colleges, and four-year universities, connecting with the work that is available here and what we need in the future. You hear from manufacturers across the state that they are looking for workers, and those aren't the same kind of workers that existed 30 years ago. A lot of those require computer background and knowledge. When you look at the higher technology sector that we're trying to grow in this state, you need workers that have a much stronger computer science background and much more technical skills that way, engineering. So we really need to do a better job as business people to connect with the institutions here of higher learning and make sure we match up the curriculum that they have in place with the jobs that are available here and moving forward into the future.
Brian Jacobson, how big a deal is this workforce match, I would call it? Mm-hmm. How big of an issue is it for the state?
It's an issue nationwide, but especially in Wisconsin, this skills mismatch, what employers are looking for, and then what potential employees really are bringing to the table. We aren't graduating necessarily the students with the skills that they need to succeed in the jobs that are available or the jobs that will become available. And I think that's one of the challenges. You have a lot of academic institutions that have, traditionally train students in the fields that the students are interested in. Well, that might not be the area that they'll actually find good paying jobs in the future. I work also at Wisconsin Lutheran College as an associate professor and director of their financial planning program. And one of the things that they've done is tried to reach out to the business community to develop different pipelines where students can train for the jobs that they're looking for. And these are usually professional level jobs. Like they've teamed up with Froedtert Hospital, for example, as far as with the nursing program, and they're looking at other programs. So I'm not exactly sure at what level this really needs to be done, because there definitely is the need. And I think a lot of the colleges can take the initiative to try to build these connections. I remember back in the 1990s, Motorola was famous for developing their Motorola University, right? Well, most people haven't heard of Motorola anymore because of bankruptcy issues and things like that. But I thought maybe they were a little ahead of their time, but maybe that's a model that some of our larger businesses can use, is develop training programs, but in conjunction with the existing academic institutions.
Corey Nettles, you do some business in the Twin Cities area. Mm-hmm. Share that experience with us, because it does address this issue of one state that seems to have more of a better relationship between employer needs and the workforce and Wisconsin. What's going on there that's not happening here?
Booming economy, growing financial services sector. I tell people it's not the weather, because where Wisconsin will be down 10,000 graduates, brain drain, who leave, Minnesota will be up 10,000 graduates. And it's a reflection of the diversification of their economy, their focus on high-end jobs, and their ability to attract people into those jobs. They don't have the legacy manufacturing base where they're trying to pivot, and they're dealing with this skills mismatch. So that's a real problem, a real headwind for us. And we haven't figured out in 10, 15 years now of talking about this skills mismatch, how to crack the code on that, and we have to. When you look at a population growth that's flat to declining, we have that challenge, but the twin challenge and the real problem is we have significant pockets of unemployment and underutilization, particularly in the city of Milwaukee. So you can't have your population shrinking and have underutilization. So we got to figure out how to get those folks off the sidelines and productively into this economy. That's going to be critical to our success short and long term.
I'm going to have to take another quick break. We will come back in just a moment. When we do, we'll talk about the climate for business startups, important to any state economy. Are we doing all we can to encourage new businesses? We'll be right back.